You pick up your phone for 1 minute. 40 minutes disappear. Then you open a book, read the same sentence 3 times, and wonder what happened to your brain. You call it laziness, but the real answer is far stranger. Your attention may not be broken. It may be trained. Every day, it practices leaving one thing for another, chasing the next sound, the next message, the next image, and the next possibility that something more interesting is waiting one swipe away. What happens when your brain becomes better at switching than staying? Attention is not a spotlight that simply turns on when you need it. It is a system of choices. Your brain is constantly deciding what deserves priority and what can be ignored. Psychologists Michael Posner and Steven Peterson described attention as several cooperating networks that help you become alert, orient toward information, and control competing impulses. In plain language, one part wakes you up, one part points you towards something, and one part tries to keep you there. But what happens when everything around you is designed to pull the pointer away? Your brain evolved in an environment where noticing change mattered. A movement in the grass could be food. A sudden sound could be danger. A new face could bring help, conflict, or information. The mind that quickly noticed novelty had an advantage. So why would your brain naturally prefer a silent document over a flashing screen filled with movement, faces, music, conflict, and surprise? It usually would not. The screen offers novelty at a speed the natural world never could. One swipe can replace boredom with comedy, anger, beauty, gossip, fear, or desire. If the current video does not reward you, another one might, then another, then another. Your brain learns a simple rule. Do not wait, because something better may be next. This does not mean a single short video destroys your attention span. It means repeated choices become practiced choices. When you escape a slow moment by checking your phone, you rehearse escape. When you interrupt a difficult task with a new tab, you rehearse interruption. When you fill every quiet second with stimulation, you rehearse discomfort with quiet. What skill are you strengthening each time? You may think you are multitasking. Usually, you are switching. The brain does not smoothly perform 2 demanding mental tasks at once. It moves between them, reconstructing the goal, the rules, and the context each time. That movement can feel instant, but it carries a cost. Why does a 5-second check sometimes become 15 minutes of mental fog? Researcher Sophie Leroy gave one part of the answer a name: attention residue. When you leave one unfinished task and move to another, part of your mind can remain attached to what you just left. You are reading the new page, but a piece of your attention is still inside the old message. You are writing the report, but another piece is thinking about the comment you just saw. You have technically returned, but not all of you returned. How well can you focus when small pieces of your mind are still scattered across 5 other places? This is why distraction does not always end when the phone goes back into your pocket. The image is gone, but the mental echo remains. The argument continues. The curiosity stays open. The unanswered message becomes a tiny unfinished door. Then the task in front of you must compete with everything you recently touched. Gloria Mark and her colleagues spent years observing how people work with digital technology. Their research found that attention during computer work is frequently fragmented by external interruptions and by self-interruptions. That second kind matters. Sometimes nobody sends a notification, sometimes your own mind creates one. Have you ever opened a new tab before you even realized you were bored? That reflex is not proof of a weak character. It is a learned response to discomfort. A demanding task creates uncertainty. You may not know the next sentence, the correct answer, or whether the effort will succeed. The phone offers an immediate exit from that feeling. It does not solve the problem, but it changes your emotional state. Is that laziness, or is it avoidance wearing the mask of distraction? The strange part is that easy stimulation can make normal effort feel unusually slow. A book cannot produce a new surprise every second. A conversation contains pauses. A difficult project may require 20 minutes of confusion before anything becomes clear. Meaningful work often hides its reward at the end. Your feed places tiny rewards everywhere. Which environment will your impatient brain choose after thousands of repetitions? Researchers I.L. Ophir, Clifford Nass, and Anthony Wagner studied people who regularly used many forms of media at once. Their experiments found that heavy media multitaskers had more difficulty filtering irrelevant information and controlling what entered attention. The finding did not mean every person who uses several screens is permanently damaged. It showed something more useful. The way you repeatedly allocate attention may be connected to the way attention performs when tested. What if your daily media habits are not merely consuming your attention, but teaching it? Think of attention as a path through grass. The route you walk most often becomes easier to follow. If you repeatedly walk from effort to escape, the escape path becomes smooth. If you repeatedly stay with confusion long enough to understand it, the staying path becomes clearer. Your brain changes through practice, and distraction is also a kind of practice. The important question is not whether your attention is naturally good or bad. What has it been practicing? This explains why motivation alone often fails. You can care deeply about a task and still avoid it. The task may promise a large reward later, while your phone offers a tiny reward now. Your brain discounts distant rewards because they are uncertain. The next swipe is immediate. Why climb a mountain for satisfaction tomorrow when a small button can change how you feel in 1 second? That is also why shame makes the problem worse. You call yourself lazy. The label creates frustration and guilt. Those feelings make the task more uncomfortable. Then your brain searches for relief, and the easiest relief is the same distraction you were ashamed of using. Can you see the loop? You avoid because the task feels bad. You feel bad because you avoid it. Then you avoid the feeling created by avoiding. The phone becomes both the escape and the evidence used against you. This is not a moral failure. It is a habit loop built around emotion, reward, and attention. The solution is not to declare war on technology. The solution is to stop asking a distracted brain to defeat an environment built for distraction. Willpower is useful, but design is stronger. A visible phone is not a neutral object. It represents messages, novelty, relief, social approval, and an endless number of possible rewards. Why keep the slot machine beside the book and then blame yourself for hearing it? Make focus easier before focus begins. Move the phone out of reach. Close the tabs that do not belong to the current task. Turn off alerts that allow other people and companies to choose where your attention goes. Give the task one clear finish line, such as 1 page, 1 paragraph, or 20 uninterrupted minutes. Can your brain stay more easily when it knows exactly what staying means? You also need to rebuild tolerance for the slow beginning. The first minutes may feel empty. That emptiness is not proof that the task is wrong. It is the contrast between high stimulation and ordinary reality. Stay long enough, and the mind often settles. What feels unbearable at minute 2 may feel absorbing at minute 15. Boredom is not always an enemy. Sometimes it is the doorway your attention must pass through before deeper interest appears. When every trace of boredom is erased immediately, curiosity never has time to grow. Your mind keeps receiving answers before it forms its own questions. What might return if every quiet moment stopped being filled? Rest matters too. A tired brain has less control over impulses and competing information. Sleep loss makes the easy reward harder to resist and the demanding task harder to hold. So the problem may not be that you need more discipline. You may need fewer temptations, clearer boundaries, and enough energy to use the control you already have. Would you call a phone lazy because its battery is empty? Your ability to focus is not gone. You prove that whenever something captures you completely. You can still spend an hour on a game, a story, a conversation, or a problem that gives you the right balance of challenge and reward. The machinery still works. It has simply become selective about when effort feels worth paying. So, begin smaller than your pride wants. Choose one task. Remove one source of escape. Stay through one wave of discomfort. Then stop at the planned finish line instead of waiting until you are exhausted. What are you teaching your brain in that moment? You are teaching it that boredom is survivable. You are teaching it that confusion does not require escape. You are teaching it that rewards can arrive slowly. You are teaching it that attention can return after wandering. And each return is a repetition. You will still get distracted. That is not failure. The goal is not to become a machine that never looks away. The goal is to notice sooner and return without turning the mistake into a story about your character. How many times can you come back before the path of coming back becomes familiar? You picked up your phone for 1 minute and 40 minutes disappeared. But now, the missing time means something different. It was not proof that you were lazy. It was evidence that your attention had been practicing how to leave. And with practice, your attention can learn how to stay.